My name is Sable Hart, 28 years old. On Sunday afternoon, I sit at my parents' kitchen table, tracing the uneven grooves carved into the wood, scars from decades of meals, homework, and arguments. My fingertip lingers on one particularly deep scratch. I made it when I was 12, dragging a fork across the surface in a fit of frustration. The wood has grown smooth with years of polish, but the scar remains, like a reminder that this table has always recorded our battles. The air in the kitchen is warm, heavy with the smell of Mom's gardenia candle burning on the counter. Sunlight filters through the lace curtains, cutting patterns across Dad's folded hands. His wedding ring catches the light, a dull glint that almost feels like a signal, one he doesn't intend to send. He hasn't looked at me once since I arrived. 30 minutes in, I realize this isn't a family meeting, it's an ambush. Mom's voice slices through the silence. $25,000. All of it. Her words are rehearsed, polished, as if she's pitching a business deal rather than talking to her daughter. She sits tall, back rigid, her eyes fixed on me with that intense, persuasive gleam she reserves for situations where she wants absolute compliance. Behind her, Barbara leans against the counter, arms folded across her chest. My older sister wears her expression of choice, the concerned big sister look she's perfected in mirrors. It's all about optics with her, sympathy as performance. We've been planning this for months, Barbara adds smoothly, and we thought, wouldn't it be nice to finally include my little sister? She smiles with too many teeth. Dad clears his throat but keeps his gaze on his hands, knuckles white, as if the act of looking at me might break something inside him. I swallow hard, forcing my voice steady. So I provide all the money. And you two handle everything else? Mom waves her hand dismissively. We have the connections, the experience. You've always been better at following directions. She chuckles lightly, as if she's offering me a compliment. Barbara jumps in on cue. You'd get a percentage. Smaller than ours, of course, since we'd be doing the heavy lifting. But you'd be part of something bigger, a family venture. The phrase lands like a weight on my chest. Family venture. Code for you pay, we profit. The silence stretches until I can hear my pulse in my ears. 5 years of working double shifts, patching clothes instead of replacing them, saying no to vacations, dinners, even simple nights out. 5 years of scraping together enough to reach that number. 25,000. My freedom fund. And now they want it, all of it. Barbara tilts her head, her voice dripping with practiced sympathy. Think of it as investing in us, Sable, in your family. Family. That word on their tongues always means debt. I don't answer right away. I let the quiet sit there, strange and heavy. Normally I'd nod, agree, play the part they've written for me, but something inside me resists, a pulse of defiance that wasn't there a month ago. Aunt Margaret's voice whispers in my memory, the night she dried dishes in my tiny apartment. There's something you need to know about why your mother calls you the mistake. I had listened in shock as she explained how Mom was on the brink of a career breakthrough when she found herself pregnant with me, how she rushed back to work, missed opportunities, and then blamed every failure on my existence. Your whole life, Aunt Margaret had said, her voice soft but unyielding. She's made you pay for something that was never your fault. That memory burns now as Mom leans closer across the table, her eyes sharp with urgency. This is a real opportunity, Sable. We can't do it without you. For the first time, I let my silence grow noticeable. Mom shifts in her chair. Barbara frowns slightly, unused to me breaking script. Finally, I ask, when would you need the money? Relief flashes across their faces. A quick exchange of glances, victory passing between them like a secret handshake. They think they've won. Again. In 3 weeks, Mom says briskly, already reaching for her phone. I'll give you the account information right now. Only Dad notices. His eyes flicker up, meeting mine for the first time all afternoon. For a moment, there's something there. Sadness, maybe recognition. But it disappears as quickly as it came, buried beneath years of practiced silence. I nod slowly, my voice steady. I'll need to check my accounts. Make sure everything is accessible. Barbara beams. See, Mom, I told you she'd understand. Family first, right, Sable? Family first. How many times have they said that while taking everything I worked for? How many times has it been the justification for every sacrifice they demanded? This time, I don't echo the phrase. I just sit there, letting their triumph wash over me like a tide I no longer feel the need to resist. Inside, something has shifted. The money they want isn't just numbers. It's the life I've been too afraid to claim. And for the first time, I realize I may not give it up. Dinner stretches into small talk I barely hear. I nod at the right moments. Watch Mom laugh too loudly at Barbara's stories, hear the clink of Dad's fork against his plate. But beneath the surface, I am elsewhere, turning over the weight of Aunt Margaret's words, the years of journal entries documenting my erosion, the pull of something stronger than fear, possibility. Barbara laughs at something I didn't catch, her hand resting on Mom's arm, a united front. I watch them and feel, for the first time, not envy, but distance. They are aligned, rehearsed, predictable, and me? I am becoming something else. When the plates are cleared, Mom rises, patting my shoulder with performative affection. "We'll send you the details tonight," she says. "Thank you, sweetheart. You're really helping the family." Her touch lingers too long, the way it always does when she wants something. I force a small smile, my face calm, even as my chest pounds. As I leave the kitchen, Dad's voice follows softly, almost lost in the clatter of dishes. "Drive safe." I glance back. His eyes are already lowered, but the tremor in his voice stays with me. A flicker of conscience buried under layers of silence. Outside, the evening air is cool against my face. The world feels both heavier and lighter. Heavier because I know what they expect. Lighter because, for the first time, I don't feel bound to give it. I walk to my car, keys cold in my hand, and sit there in the quiet. The scratches on the kitchen table flash in my mind, those scars of childhood arguments. For years, I thought they were ugly. Now, I think maybe they're proof that surfaces can carry wounds and still endure. I turn the key in the ignition, the engine humming to life. My phone buzzes with a new message from Mom. "Family venture details attached. Review tonight." I don't open it. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Instead, I put the car in gear and drive away, headlights cutting through the dusk. For once, the road ahead feels like it belongs to me. 2 days later, I sit at my own kitchen table, a wobbling laminate surface in the cramped apartment I share with a nursing student who's rarely home. The space smells faintly of reheated noodles and cinnamon air freshener, a poor attempt to disguise the dampness creeping from the old pipes. It's small, but it's mine, or at least the closest thing to mine that I've ever had. My keys clatter onto the table, jangling against my journal. The cover is worn, corners frayed, pages softened from years of being turned over and over. 10 years of entries, each one a breadcrumb leading back to the same story. I flip to the first page. The ink has faded, but the memory is sharp. My 18th birthday. While other girls were blowing out candles, my mother slid a folded sheet of paper across the kitchen table. "Now that you're an adult," she had said, her lips curved in a smile that never reached her eyes, "it's time you contribute." The number scrawled on the paper, $250. Nearly half of my paycheck from stocking groceries. My hands had shaken as I asked, "Does this mean I don't have to help at the boutique on weekends anymore?" Mom's eyes hardened. "If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place." Barbara had smirked from behind her textbook, enjoying the show. Dad had hidden behind his coffee mug, pretending not to hear. That contribution never ended. It grew, quietly, steadily. $250 became $350, and then came the emergencies. Dental work for Barbara, repairs for Mom's car, a sudden shortfall in rent. My wages became their safety net, their entitlement. I turn more pages. March 4th. My first raise at the administrative job. An extra $175 a month. Maybe I can finally save for a car. March 7th. Mom called. "Barbara needs dental work. There goes the car fund." August 15th. 5 years of saving. $25,000 hidden away. Nobody knows but me. I press my palm against that page, feeling the indentation of my own handwriting. The number that represents 5 years of double shifts at the diner, 5 years of saying, "I can't afford it" to coworkers, 5 years of patched clothes and skipped vacations, 5 years of calculated deception, letting my family believe I was scraping by while secretly building a lifeline. The buzz of my phone interrupts the thought. A message from Barbara. "Mom says you're being difficult about the contribution, after everything we've done for you." I stare at the screen, then set it face down. The accusation doesn't sting the way it used to. Instead, it feels predictable, like a script I've heard too many times to take seriously. Another buzz. This time, Dad. Your mother's upset. Can you just send the money? The familiar wave of exhaustion washes over me. Dad's silence is its own cruelty, not the sharpness of Mom's blade, but the steady drip of someone who watches and never intervenes. A knock rattles the thin door. Sable, you home? Ryan's voice, my neighbor from across the hall. He stands holding a plate of cookies, steam rising faintly. Made too many, he says with a shrug. His eyes flicker over me, concern barely concealed. Thanks, I murmur, accepting the plate. The warmth surprises me, not from the cookies, but from the gesture itself. No strings, no guilt, just kindness. You okay? He asks, lingering in the doorway. I open my mouth to answer, but my phone rings again. Diane, the woman who trained me at the office, whose maternal concern still feels foreign. I should take this, I tell Ryan. He nods, offering a small smile before retreating across the hall. Sable? Diane's voice is warm, firm. I've noticed you working through lunch again. You don't look well. Something catches in my throat. These small kindnesses, Ryan's cookies, Diane's check-in, throw into sharp relief the cruelty I've accepted as normal from my family. I'm fine, I lie. You don't sound fine, she replies gently. Have you considered taking a day, just for yourself? Her words echo in me long after the call ends. The next morning, I slip a time-off request across Diane's desk. She adjusts her glasses, scanning the form. A personal day? Good heavens, Sable, you haven't taken one in 2 years. I fidget with the sleeve of my cardigan. Is it okay? Take 2, she says, signing without hesitation. Her eyes soften. Whatever it is, I hope it brings you some peace. Peace. The word lodges in me like a stone dropped in water, ripples spreading. That evening, I sit at my kitchen table again, journal open. The pages tell the story of my life as tribute. Paycheck excitement, followed by the inevitable drain, the cycle of hope and disappointment. The ledger of a life taxed by obligation. I run my fingers over the most recent blank page. For years, I've filled these lines with numbers dwindling, dreams deferred. But maybe, just maybe, the next entry could be different. I think of Aunt Margaret's whisper, the way she pressed the dish towel into my hands as she revealed the truth. She's been making you pay for something that was never your fault. And I think of Dad's fleeting glance at the kitchen table, that flicker of sadness he buried. Did he know? Did he ever want to stop it? The blank page waits. I pick up my pen, but hesitate. The words I want to write feel too fragile, too radical. This time, I'll keep it. The hum of the refrigerator fills the silence. Outside, traffic passes in a steady rhythm. For once, I don't reach for my phone when it buzzes again. I let it ring. Instead, I stand, carrying the plate of cookies Ryan gave me to the counter. I take one, breaking it in half, tasting the warmth, the sweetness. A simple kindness, but it fills me more than any family dinner ever has. For the first time in years, I feel the possibility of change. The next morning, I place my journal in my bag before leaving for work. Not as evidence of suffering, but as a reminder. I've survived this long. I can survive whatever comes next. And maybe, just maybe, I can do more than survive. On Wednesday morning, I sit in a public library 3 towns over, hunched at a borrowed computer under fluorescent lights. The air smells of dust and floor wax, and the silence here feels safer than my apartment walls, safer than anywhere my family might imagine me to be. No one would think to look for me here. The cursor blinks against the screen as I scroll through apartment listings in cities far from this one. Each photograph, bare rooms with scuffed hardwood floors, balconies overlooking streets I've never walked, feels like a door I might step through. My heart pounds with every click. Is this hope or terror disguised as it? One listing catches me. A small studio with sunlit windows, rent within reach. My fingers tremble as I copy down the contact information into my notebook. It feels impossible and yet entirely mine. For the first time, the thought forms clearly. I could leave. The hum of fluorescent bulbs overhead blends with the thump of my pulse. The idea terrifies me, but it also thrills me in a way that nothing connected to my family ever has. By Thursday, I'm at Riverdale Credit Union. Sunglasses and a baseball cap disguise me enough that I feel invisible as I step inside. A young banker greets me. Her name tag says Tess. She leads me to her desk, papers crisp and ready. I'd like to open a new account, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. Tess scans my ID. We'll need a signature here. She pushes the form toward me, and as I sign, she tilts her head. Your signature looks different than on your license. I pause, then smile faintly. I'm working on that. The words land heavier than I expect. They aren't just about ink. They're about me. I slide across a cashier's check for half of my savings. Not all, never all, not yet, but enough to start something that belongs only to me. As Tess stamps the paperwork, a strange calm settles over me. I'm building a wall my family can't climb. Saturday morning, while Mom, Barbara, and Dad attend Aunt Joanne's baby shower, I slip into their house using the emergency key taped beneath the porch rail. The air inside is thick with the smell of gardenia candles, the same scent that clings to Mom's clothes, to every memory I have of this place. I climb the creaking stairs to the attic, heart racing. Dust swirls in the narrow shaft of sunlight spilling through the window. Boxes are stacked in uneven towers. My throat tightens when I see it, a faded blue bin marked Sable Documents in Dad's careful handwriting. I kneel, lifting the lid. Inside, my birth certificate, social security card, vaccination records, high school diploma. Every time I asked for these, Mom insisted, "They're safer here. You'd just lose them." I clutch the folder to my chest, surprised by its lightness. 28 years of proof of existence, all contained in one bundle, weighing less than a sandwich. For a moment, I sit on the attic floor, dust catching in my throat, remembering all the times I begged for these papers. The way Mom would laugh, shake her head. "You'd misplace them in a week, Sable. Now they're mine." That evening, I sit at a park bench near a pond, ducks gliding across the water. The sun warms my face, and my journal rests open on my lap. On a fresh page, I write at the top, "Things I have survived." The pen moves steadily. Mom's coldness, Barbara's cruelty, Dad's silence, the endless drain of my bank account, the constant reminders that I was unwanted, the louder reminders that I owed them for existing. When I finish the list, I stare at the final line, being called a mistake my entire life. I tear out the page, fold it, and slide it into my wallet. A talisman. Proof. Whatever comes next, I've already endured the worst. "I am not a mistake," I whisper to the ducks. One quacks back, almost in agreement. For the first time in years, I smile. Sunday dinner arrives, and I'm back at the familiar table. Pot roast steams on plates, the scent heavy and cloying. Mom's specialty, always saved for moments she wants something. "So," she says, slicing the meat with surgical precision. "Have you made a decision about our family venture?" I chew slowly, let the silence stretch. "I'd like to see the business plan," I reply. "Projected returns, market analysis." Barbara snorts. "What's there to consider? It's a no-brainer." Mom's knife clatters against her plate. "We don't need all that paperwork. This is family, not some corporate deal." Barbara leans forward. "Actually, we were thinking we could simplify things. Become signatories on your accounts. Help manage everything more efficiently." Dad clears his throat. "Maybe we should give Sable time to think." "She's had plenty of time," Mom snaps. Her eyes spear me. "This opportunity won't wait forever." I set down my fork. "What exactly is this opportunity, specifically?" The silence that follows tells me everything. There is no plan, no opportunity, just another attempt to siphon what I've built. Barbara shifts in her seat, her voice tight. "We're still finalizing details." I take another bite, calm spreading through me like steel. They don't realize I've already taken steps. The new account, the documents, the ticket waiting on my desk drawer. Later that night, I sit at my own table, the journal open to another blank page. I write only one sentence. Next week, I will leave. I fold the paper and place it inside a small gift bag on my dresser. Inside, alongside it, is a burgundy silk scarf I bought with my first paycheck, Mom's favorite color, a goodbye, wrapped in silk. When I step back and look at it, my chest tightens with fear, but also, unmistakably, with relief. For the first time in my life, I am writing my own script. Saturday evening, the house smells like pot roast again, though the scent no longer warms me. It coils in my stomach like a warning. I sit at the kitchen table, the same scarred surface where so many of my choices have been stripped away. Tonight, however, I am not here to give anything. I am here to end something. Dinner drags on in hollow chatter. Weather reports, Barbara's promotion, Mrs. Peterson's hip replacement. I nod in all the right places, fork pushing food across my plate. My small gift bag rests by my chair, burgundy tissue paper folded neatly at the top. I can feel the weight of it, not heavy, but absolute. Mom clears her throat, the sound sharp as a gavel. Well, she says, setting her utensils down, let's get to business. Dad silently gathers plates, his movements mechanical, as if he's been rehearsing this role for decades. Only his trembling hands betray the cost of playing it. Barbara leans forward, eyes bright with something that looks like triumph. We've decided the simplest way forward is power of attorney. Mom produces a folder from beneath her chair, slides papers across the table. The legal jargon sprawls across the pages like shackles dressed in ink. This way, Mom continues, tapping the stack, we can handle the details without bothering you. You've always been better with following instructions than making decisions. I glance at my name printed again and again across the document, bound to clauses that benefit everyone but me. My throat tightens, but my face remains calm. Barbara's smile widens, rehearsed empathy, hiding steel. It's about protecting you, Sable, keeping things efficient. Dad returns, sitting down heavily, his eyes fixed on the papers, not on me. Family takes care of family, Mom says, her tone hardening, each word sharpened by expectation. After everything we've done for you, after everything we've sacrificed because of you, this is the least you can do. The silence swells between us, thick, suffocating. I feel my heartbeat steady itself, slow and deliberate. They expect me to crumble, to nod, to sign. But I've already chosen a different ending. You're right, I say softly, reaching for the gift bag at my side. I've thought about everything you've said. Barbara's eyes gleam with victory. Mom's mouth curves into a satisfied smile. Dad's shoulders slump further, as though resignation is the only language he knows. I've decided, I continue, placing the bag in the center of the table, to give you something more valuable than money. Confusion flickers across their faces. Mom pulls the burgundy scarf from the bag, her favorite color, fabric spilling like liquid between her fingers. Beneath it, she finds a sealed envelope, her name written in my neatest handwriting. What is this? She demands, though her voice has lost its edge. My goodbye. Barbara's smile falters. What are you talking about? I rise from my chair, steady, weightless, in a way I've never felt before. I know the truth now, about why you call me the mistake, about the business deal you missed, about all of it. Aunt Margaret, Barbara spits, fury twisting her features. That interfering... I forgive you, I say, surprising myself with the ease of it. But I'm leaving, tonight. There's nothing more to discuss. The room shudders with silence. Mom clutches the scarf, her knuckles whitening. You can't just... I already have, I interrupt. My voice doesn't shake. My things are gone. My apartment is empty. My new job starts next week. Dad's chair scrapes against the floor. For the first time in years, his eyes meet mine. They hold me, unblinking, and his voice breaks through the air, trembling but clear. Be safe. The words pierce me more deeply than I expect. He has chosen silence for decades, but tonight he chooses something else. It is small, but it is real. Barbara lunges for the papers on the table, waving them like weapons. You can't walk out. You can't just abandon us. I move toward the door. I can, and I already did. Mom's voice cracks, raw and shrill. After everything we've done for you. I stop at the threshold, turning just enough to look back. That's the difference. You think you've done things for me. All you ever did was take. For once, they have no retort. The silence I leave behind is louder than any shouting match we've ever had. Outside, the night air is cool, damp with the smell of rain. It fills my lungs, sharp and clean. I walk to my car, the gift bag left behind like an anchor cut loose. As I slide into the driver's seat, my phone buzzes. A message lights the screen. Barbara, you don't know what you're doing. You'll regret this. I set the phone face down. Start the engine. The headlights cut through the dark, illuminating the road ahead. My hands grip the wheel, steady. In the rearview mirror, the house shrinks, swallowed by shadows. For years, it defined me. Tonight, it becomes only a backdrop I am walking away from. I don't know what waits on the other side of this decision, but I know one thing. It belongs to me. 2 days after I left the scarf and letter on the table, Barbara's fist pounds against the door of my old apartment. The sound echoes down the narrow hallway, rattling the peeling paint. Sable Hart, open this door right now. Behind her, Mom hovers, face pale with fury, arms crossed like a fortress. The landlord leans casually against the wall, arms folded. Ladies, he says firmly, I already told you. She moved out 3 days ago. paid her final month, left the keys. Clean exit. Barbara spins toward him, phone clutched in her hand. What do you mean she moved? This is her apartment. The landlord shrugs. Not anymore. She seemed happy, though. Happier than I'd seen her in 2 years. Mom pushes past him, barging into the now bare apartment. Beige walls gape with rectangular patches where my few pictures once hung. Empty hangers dangle in the closet like forgotten skeletons. The drawers are open. Vacant? The kitchen counter is stripped bare, no bank statements in sight. Barbara's voice sharpens, rising like broken glass. Her stuff is gone. Exactly, the landlord says. I need to lock up now. New tenant moves in tomorrow. This is a family emergency, Mom snaps. Your emergency, he replies, cool and unshaken. Not mine. He reclaims his key, ignoring their protests. Barbara is already dialing. The bank won't tell me anything. I'm not authorized on her accounts. Her voice trembles, frustration mixing with disbelief. Mom's face darkens. For once, there is no leverage, no key to twist. While they circle the hollow remains of my old life, I am hundreds of miles away. The plane lands just after sunset in a coastal city surrounded by mountains. My heart races as I step into the terminal, clutching only one suitcase and my backpack. No one is here to greet me, no one to demand explanations. The silence feels unnatural, like stepping into a vacuum where obligations used to hum. My new apartment is small, a studio with thin carpet and a window that frames the mountains in the distance. I paid 3 months in advance. The landlord blinked when I offered, but I needed the security of knowing this space belongs to me. That first night, I sit on the floor with a single lamp glowing in the corner. The walls are bare, the air cool. I unwrap the snow globe Dad once gave me, a souvenir from Chicago years ago. I set it on the windowsill. When I shake it, tiny flakes swirl around a miniature skyline. It feels like a reminder of something fragile but real. The next morning, sunlight floods through the blinds. I walk to the branch office of the bank where my transfer was arranged. The lobby looks almost identical to the one I left behind. Rows of desks, the faint smell of toner and fresh paper. Yet here, no one knows me as a mistake. A woman with silver-streaked hair greets me at the door. You must be Sable. Diane spoke very highly of you, said you're one of the most dependable she's trained. Her handshake is warm, her words without hidden barbs. My chest loosens. Thank you for the opportunity, I reply, steady in a way I never was at home. That afternoon, I walk across the street to a coffee shop. The barista greets me with a smile that feels uncalculated. First time here, what can I get you? I order a vanilla latte. For once, I don't mentally calculate how much of my paycheck it costs, or hear Mom's voice reminding me what that money should have bought for the family. I take the first sip, warmth spreading through my chest, and realize this is what freedom tastes like. Back in my apartment, I unpack the few possessions I brought. Grandma's thimble, the high school watercolor, the snow globe. Small tokens that feel like anchors to myself, not chains to anyone else. The rest I left behind without regret. Meanwhile, Barbara paces in my parents' kitchen, phone pressed to her ear. The bank stonewalls me. The landlord won't cooperate. I called her job. She transferred branches. They won't say where. Montana, Mom mutters bitterly, repeating a rumor she clung to after overhearing a scrap of conversation. She's in Montana. Dad sits silently at the table, sipping cold coffee. For once, he doesn't correct or encourage them. His eyes drift to the envelope still resting on the counter, the burgundy scarf folded neatly beside it. He hasn't touched it since that night. Montana, Barbara repeats, pacing harder. Fine, we'll track her down. But I am not in Montana. I am here, in a sunlit apartment hundreds of miles away, staring out the window at mountains that look painted onto the horizon. 3 weeks pass. I slip into a rhythm that feels foreign and thrilling. Work during the day, evenings spent in the quiet hum of my own space. No texts demanding money. No calls clawing at my paycheck. The silence at first feels like absence, but slowly it becomes relief. I buy soft cotton sheets. No calculation, no guilt. I hang my watercolor above the bed. I cook pasta with garlic and basil, filling the apartment with scents that belong to me alone. Each morning, I shake the snow globe, watch the flakes swirl, and remind myself, this is real. One evening, as I sip tea by the window, I hear the faint vibration of my phone. An unfamiliar number flashes across the screen. My chest tightens, pulse thudding. I don't answer. Not yet. The phone stops, then buzzes again. I set it on the table, hands trembling. Whoever it is, whatever tether tries to pull me back, it will have to wait. For now, I sip my tea, gaze at the mountains glowing gold in the last light, and breathe. For once, the breath feels like mine. 3 months pass in a blur of quiet routines. Work feels steady, predictable in a way that steadies me. Each morning, I walk across the street for a latte without guilt. Each evening, I cook simple meals in my little kitchen, my own lamp casting warm light over walls that no one else controls. Then one afternoon, my work phone rings with an unfamiliar number. I hesitate, pulse rising, before answering. Sable? The voice on the other end is thinner than I remember, ragged with strain. My mother. Thank God. We've been trying to reach you for months. My hand tightens on the receiver. How did you get this number? That doesn't matter. Her tone shifts to trembling urgency, the practiced desperation I know too well. It's your father, his heart. The doctors say he needs surgery, but the insurance won't cover it all. We need you to come home. The words hit like a punch. For a moment, guilt claws at my chest. Dad. The man of silence, of folded hands, of absence. The man who whispered only once, be safe. I swallow hard. I'm sorry to hear about Dad. Truly. But I can't come home. Can't or won't. Her voice sharpens, cutting through any illusion of vulnerability. After everything we've done for you? I hang up before the old reflex to explain, to defend, can rise. My hand shakes, but my resolve holds. That night, an email arrives. Subject line, family obligations, from Barbara. Inside, thinly veiled threats, references to filial responsibility laws, hints at legal remedies, language meant to frighten me back into compliance. I close the laptop and stare at the snow globe on the windowsill. Flakes swirl inside its glass dome, quiet, contained, untouchable. For years, I thought I lived inside their storm. But now I realize I am the one shaking the globe. I control when the snow falls. The phone buzzes again. Aunt Margaret this time. Her voice is brisk, no preamble. They're planning to visit. Your mother found your address through someone at that diner you used to work at. They're talking about driving out next weekend. Cold washes over me. For a moment, panic rises, but it passes. I'm not hiding, I say slowly. I'm standing my ground. The next morning, I sit across from Patricia Wells, a lawyer with kind eyes and no-nonsense posture. I lay out the story, the years of contributions, the ambushes, the scarf and letter. Patricia listens, nodding. They have no legal claim to your money, she confirms. A cease and desist letter should be sufficient, but if they attempt contact in person, we can pursue a restraining order. Relief loosens something tight in my chest. Legal words like armor. That afternoon, I step into HR's office. I need to document a potential harassment situation, I explain, laying out the facts with the same calm I used in front of Mom and Barbara at the table. The HR manager makes notes, nodding. We take employee safety seriously, she says. We'll alert security and make sure your direct line is changed. The following evening, I call Aunt Margaret back. My voice is steady. I love you, but I need you to understand. I'm not running. If they come here, they'll face legal consequences. There's a pause, then a soft exhale. You sound different, she says. I am different. 2 days later, a thick envelope arrives in the mail. My mother's handwriting sprawls across the front. Inside, I find a letter stained with tears. The words swing between accusation and pleading, demanding I remember everything we've done for you, insisting that without them, I would have been nothing. At the bottom, the script falters. A final line scrawled in a hand I barely recognize. I don't know who you are anymore. I fold the letter carefully and place it in a box I label before. Then I open my window, letting mountain air sweep through the room. She's right. I am not who she knew. Neither am I who she made me believe I was. That night, I dream of the kitchen table, the scratches etched into its surface. Only this time, the scars glow faintly in the dim light, not as wounds, but as constellations, proof that surfaces can be marked and still endure. When I wake, the room is filled with golden light. My snow globe gleams on the windowsill. Beside it rests the folder of documents I took from the attic. Birth certificate, diploma, records, proof that my existence belongs to me alone. At work, the new direct line rings. A voice I don't recognize asks for Sable Hart. This is she, I answer. My voice does not tremble. In the pause that follows, I feel the truth settle deep into my bones. I am no longer the family's mistake, scapegoat, or safety net. I am something they never expected me to be, untouchable. And for the first time in my life, I realize clarity is stronger than guilt. 1 year later, I wake to sunlight pouring through my apartment window. The mountains outside glow pink with dawn, their peaks dusted in snow. My calendar confirms what my heart already knows. It's my birthday. 29. The apartment is still small, still modest, but it belongs entirely to me. Every corner reflects a choice I made, not a compromise forced upon me. On the bookshelf, succulents thrive under the light. Above my reading chair hangs a watercolor of mountains I painted in high school. On the windowsill, the snow globe gleams, catching the sunrise. My phone buzzes, messages flood in, not the obligatory acknowledgments from family that once resented my existence, but genuine wishes from people who care. Diane from work, Ryan who helped me move, Marissa from pottery class, inviting me to dinner tonight. Looking forward to celebrating you, she writes. For the first time, I don't brace myself for the hidden cost behind affection. No one is keeping score. No one is demanding repayment. At the office, a small envelope waits on my desk. Inside is a card signed by the entire department. Congratulations on your promotion. Your attention to detail and initiative have been invaluable. Tears prick my eyes. Not for the salary increase, though that secures my independence further, but for the recognition of value that isn't tied to sacrifice. I am seen not for what I can give away, but for what I bring. Therapy has taught me that healing isn't linear. Every Thursday, I sit in Dr. Andrews' calm office, untangling knots that once felt permanent. You can acknowledge the hurt, she told me recently, without continuing to live from it. I carry her words like a compass. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. On Saturdays, I volunteer at a community garden. My hands sink into the soil, grounding me in something larger than myself. I laugh with strangers turned friends, watch tomatoes ripen, sunflowers lift their heads. Growth becomes more than metaphor. It's physical, alive. Last month, I accepted a dinner invitation from Michael, an accountant I met at the garden. Our conversation flowed easily, no undercurrent of fear or judgment. When he asked about my family, I told him the truth. Not everything, but enough. He didn't run. He just listened. Letters from my old life still arrive occasionally. Mom's Christmas card came without a note, just her name signed in her looping hand. Barbara sends sporadic texts about family drama, each one a fishing line cast into waters I no longer swim. Dad's letters are different, tentative, brief. I reply with kind but measured notes, distance without cruelty. Yesterday, something unexpected appeared in my mailbox. A letter from my 19-year-old cousin Jessie. They say you abandoned the family, she wrote, but something about the way they talk about you doesn't sound right. I'm working 2 jobs while going to school, and Mom keeps saying I owe her for raising me. I don't know what to do. My hands trembled as I dialed the number she scrawled at the bottom. For an hour, I listened to her story. Every detail felt like an echo of mine. Different players, same script. You're not crazy, I told her, and you're not alone. Later, I sat by my window, the snow globe in my hands. I realized my so-called mistake, my existence, the label Mom weaponized, had become someone else's lifeline. This morning, a package arrives. The handwriting on the label stops me cold. My father's. Inside, wrapped in newspaper, is the same snow globe I left behind on the windowsill of my old apartment. At first, I assume it's simply been returned, but when I lift it, the base feels heavier than before. I turn it over, discover a small seam. With careful pressure, the base pops open. Inside lies a folded bank receipt. My breath catches. The receipt shows small deposits made over years, cash tips, amounts so modest they would never have drawn attention. But together, they formed a bond in my name. It isn't much. It won't change my future, but it changes something inside me. For years, I believed Dad's silence was only weakness, and maybe it mostly was. But this was quiet resistance, a hidden acknowledgement. He saw me, even if he never said it. I hold the receipt in my hand, unsure if it's an apology or a confession, maybe both. That night, at dinner with friends, I blow out candles on a cake no one expects me to pay for. Laughter surrounds me, easy and genuine. Afterward, I return home, open my journal, and write. Today I turn 29. My savings are truly mine. My life is mine, and I am no longer surviving, I am choosing. Before bed, I text Jessie a budget template and a script for saying no. You deserve a life that's yours, I tell her. Standing at the window, I watch the city lights glitter against the mountains. The snow globe rests on the sill, heavier now with its hidden truth. For years, I thought my story ended at being the family's mistake. Tonight, I know better. The family you're born into may shape your beginning, but the family you choose, the friends, the allies, the ones you lift as you rise, determines your future. And for the first time, I am building mine on purpose.